Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the One Last Year podcast. You know who we are. We're not going to introduce ourselves again unless you guys want to.
No, I'm
No.
good.
No,
I'm
we're
good.
good. You already know who we are. So, just as last two episodes we talked about freshman and sophomore year, we're going to get right to the chase here. We're talking about junior year this time. This is going to be the last episode. We're just sort of talking about school. Hopefully, next episode we will have our first guest. I'm not going to say who, but we're working on it. One thing I want to say before we get into this episode is I looked back at the previous episode and oh my god, I did not shut up. I listened back to the entire thing and I did not stop talking. When I'm looking at like the audio tracks, the only point in time where I ever stopped talking for a long period of time was when Jacob's hot dog story. That was the only time I got like invested in someone else's
You
story.
gave
So
me the
this
thumbnail.
I did put you in the thumbnail just for that. I put a little hot dog bun in your hand. But this episode, I will try. I'll try to. I'll try to talk a little bit less and do a bit more question asking.
Thank God.
Yeah, I
Right.
know everyone seems to be getting real tired of Sawyer talking all the time.
That's what I've
So
heard.
junior year just ended, and I think a lot of interesting happened. I got a list of bullet points here that have, and I have a lot, and there's one here that just reads "Ghost Child." So I've got quite a few things that I would like to talk about for junior year, but obviously, I need to be talking a bit less. So how about one of you? Let's start with one of you. What do you think of when you think of junior
Don't
year?
put me on the spot with the ghost child. I don't know what that means.
We'll get to Ghost Child eventually, Jacob.
Okay.
Don't even worry.
Well, I think a good spot to start for junior year is I did cell crew at the beginning of junior year.
Oh yeah.
So I just show up like a week early to school. And when I first signed up for cell crew, I was kind of excited, but then when I realized I had to show up early to school, I was like, man, this kind of sucks.
What does Cell Crew do?
So we need to show up like a week early to school to plan this big event so that when the freshmen show up on the first day, we like show them around,
Mm-hmm.
like show them what high school's like.
So
We're like their guides.
do you do anything after that? Is it like a year-long thing? Because I don't know anything about Cell Crew.
We had a bunch of things that they kept asking me to volunteer for. They're like, can you please volunteer to set up this paper mache event? And I didn't volunteer for any of them though.
So
I only did our first cell crew thing.
yeah, because years prior it was student council's job to do that with the freshmen, right?
Really?
No, that was always cell crew.
Oh.
Yeah, student council would not do like you're talking about like people leading like the freshmen around.
Yeah, because like on the first day of school every year, the freshmen have like every other grade besides the freshmen don't have to show up right away.
Yeah, that was always cell crew because when I was in student council sophomore year, we just got to go home after we chanted good morning.
How was it, Ian, with the freshmen?
So I got kind of lucky. I had a pretty great experience. When we were giving, so there was this portion of cell crew when we had to do scavenger hunts with the freshmen, and that was kind of when you really showed them around the entire school. Before you played just like basic activity games where you got to know each other, all kind of stupid first day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got to show them around to the scavenger hunt, and I only had 2 freshmen to show around. And they were the 2 like the coolest freshmen I know. And we walked around and we goofed around the entire time, and they actually got yelled at by the principal. The 2 freshmen I was showing around.
Did you get in trouble at all?
No, the principal didn't care about me, but yelled at the 2 freshmen. But I'm still friends with those 2 freshmen to this day. And one of them, it's quite the coincidence, but one of them shares my last name.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. We're not related, I don't think.
I'm gonna pull out the yearbook.
You pull up the yearbook?
The yearbook.
Search for names.
I'm not doing that right now.
I hated cell crew, except for that. I got to meet 2 really cool freshmen that I'm still friends to this day.
So
Otherwise, I would not recommend cell crew.
oh, so you're not doing it again. senior year?
I'm not doing it again. I know a couple people that are. I just thought it was kind of stupid. But if you want to meet new people, then you should definitely do it.
I
But
mean,
odds are you're gonna get a pretty crappy, shitty group of freshmen.
yeah. I mean, you are gonna be on student council next year, so that's pretty similar. Well, not you meet people. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of touring people around, we did have that middle school exchange recently. David and I. Well, David, you weren't there for that, were you?
I mean, I've done it in the past, so I can talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that just reminded me. I literally just thought of it and wrote it down on my bullet list. But like a couple weeks before the school year ended, we had a middle school exchange for student council where like we brought in a bunch of middle schoolers. I think it was like 50 some odd middle schoolers, like 8th graders, to like show them around the school. And we got like divided into groups. So I was with like Owen Hubbard. We had like a group. We were touring around, pretty similar to what Cell Crew did, I feel. But I had to be this way, but our group sucked. I mean, it was terrible because one of the girls in our group apparently just knew a bunch of people in the high school, and like 5 separate times when we were walking through, she would like see someone she knew in a classroom and literally like peek her head into the classroom, which was in the middle of a class, and be like, "Hi!" Like she was gonna get us in trouble. And there was another point when we were walking through the hall. We walked by this teacher. I don't know what teacher. I don't know who she was, but she was pregnant. And one of the middle schoolers literally said out loud, "Oh, hi, pregnant teacher." Who greets someone like that? That is so bad. But yeah, that was a pretty awful experience. We also had
Well, I
to
mean, you were showing around middle schoolers, which is 100 times worse than freshmen.
which, if you listen to episode 1, you would know that those middle schoolers loved to kill one another 3 years ago. It was just a hobby of theirs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But and we also had to do karaoke with them, which I don't like doing. We
Not
have
a
to
singer.
we have to do that a lot on student council, I find.
Karaoke?
Yeah, like dance competitions and like,
Yeah, I mean, just like icebreakers.
well, those are not icebreakers. Those are more than icebreakers. Ian walked in during the middle school exchange when we were doing that.
I remember that.
Like you were late to school.
No.
It was second
I'm
period.
never late. No.
But David, what are your thoughts on doing those? Because I really don't like doing them.
Like the dance stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I remember like throughout student council, like usually enjoying them because you can kind of, just be stupid with them.
Yeah, I get that, but I think it's kind of cringe. No.
I once threw it back to a T Swift song in freshman year for a dance competition.
Is there a recording of this anywhere? I'm just asking.
Ooh, maybe in like a really old student council chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of student council, junior year was my first year on student council, and I did quite a few interesting things. I feel I became quite the member, because of Sawyer Fields Productions, which I don't know about you, but I think that my videos were a hit, were big hits. So junior year, I was the one making all the ads for student council, which, I mean, I don't know, David, what do you think of them throughout the whole year?
Well, you made the video ads. You should clarify that.
The video ads.
Yes,
I didn't, like, not the posters.
like the poster ads that like people see on their stories. Those like a bunch of different people made. But the video ads, they were at least compared to, well, they're good. I shouldn't say I shouldn't.
They're all right.
But like comparing them to like the year prior, not only was there a greater quantity of videos, like there was more like thought put into them, and they were better organized, and like people knew what they're doing rather than just showing up to like a meeting on a random Thursday morning and needing to like crank out like just a 30-second video the day before an event.
Yeah. Well, like, who was in charge of like editing videos before me? Because like I
It
remember.
was just if your committee. was
So like
on
the
it.
homecoming court video from the year before was
Yeah,
just
that
as
was.
crazy.
Well, it might have been like
I
the
think that one
marketing and
was.
bonding committee.
I think that was edited by Miss Mahoney. No, because it's on her YouTube.
It could have.
channel.
It could have been. I don't.
Speaking of the homecoming court video, that I spent way too long on that video. If anyone remembers it from this year, I spent 20 hours editing that thing over the course of 3 days. And I remember I sent it. I like finished it at 2 in the morning on a school night, and I sent it to Miss Mahoney. And then when Miss Mahoney saw me at school, she was like, "Sawyer, are you okay? Why did you send me this at 2 in the morning?" And I was just like, "Because it's for the cause. I had to do it."
Wasn't that your first video you
Mm-mm.
made for student
It
council?
was the third one. The first
What
one.
was the first one?
The first one was for the homecoming pep assembly. Like we had a fundraiser, and there were like two
Oh, yeah.
volunteers from each, um, two volunteers from each class. And like every class could donate money, and whichever class donated the most money, their two volunteers would get stuff dumped on them at the assembly. Which I actually have a funny story about that
I
one
remember
because it was the first video, and Finn was in charge of making it, and Finn wanted to take a lot more charge in that one, which I guess makes sense. But what he did is we had to film like a little segment with each of the 8 volunteers, and so I took half of them, and then he took the other half, and we sort of split up and filmed our parts. And then when we got back together, Finn wanted to record a bit of like Caden Wilkins dunking or something, and I noticed when he started recording, he was recording in portrait mode. And I like walked over to him and like grabbed his phone out of his hand and like rotated it. And Finn was like, "Wait, did you want it all recorded like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So then and it turns out he recorded everything in portrait mode, and so we had to re-record everything with those people, which I don't think they were very stoked about. But
That's pretty tragic.
yeah, working with people who aren't on student council with those videos, it always seems like they don't want to be there. Like when we made the ad for March Madness, which ended up getting canceled with like a bunch of the basketball team members, they they didn't want to be there. I could tell they were like just constantly slacking off. We'd be like, "All right, we're recording." They're like, But I actually really liked the way that video turned out. I worked really hard on it, and March Madness ended up getting canceled anyways because no one signed up.
Yeah.
Well, 3 people signed up, 3 teams, but you can't exactly have a basketball tournament with 3 teams.
So
Yeah.
listen to everyone listening. Go
Yeah.
sign up for Stuco events.
Yeah, we're gonna be mass promoting them next school year, and if I don't see you there, we'll find you. But yeah, I think I had a lot of fun making the ads our junior year. The only thing I didn't like was teachers that didn't show them.
That's a whole different story.
It is because I mean I get it when like they say show it in second block, and like the second block teachers don't have the time in their agenda, but like when we're doing student council elections and we have the election videos that everyone makes and we're in advisory and the only thing on the advisory teacher's agenda for that day is to play the videos, and they don't even do that. They don't do the one thing they're supposed to do that day. It's a little upsetting, especially because
Yeah.
we work hard on them. Because I remember in biology this year, I was talking about my election video from sophomore year, which was pretty iconic, I must say, because when I bring it up, most people usually know what I'm talking about. And I was like talking about with everyone, I was like referencing it, and everyone was like nodding their heads and knew what I was talking about. But Connor Brooks, who was sitting right next to me, interrupted me. He was like, Sawyer, what are you talking about? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never seen this video. And I ask him, who's your advisory teacher? And he tells me, and he's like, oh yeah, he never shows us any of the videos. And I was so mad. And he didn't show them this year either. If your teacher doesn't show the student council election videos, call them out. Because that is ridiculous. Because I worked hard on mine. Ian, yes, we all worked hard on ours. All 4 of us.
Yeah.
And
No, because one of my friends, Anthony, I went up to him during lunch and I said, "So did you see my video?" And he's like, "No."
oh yeah, I was
What
there.
do you-
Yeah, I
What
asked.
do you
We
mean
were
you didn't see my
asking.
video,
We were asking
and he
him.
said, "I never saw any of the videos." I was like, your advisory teacher didn't do the one thing he was supposed to do this advisory period? And he's like, no, I guess not. And I was like, okay, well, at least go online and still vote for me. And he was like, no, I'm not going to vote for you. I was like, why? He said, I never saw your
I
video.
know a lot of people that didn't vote because they just never saw the videos, so they just didn't feel
Exactly.
like.
But like we were
voting.
in line with Anthony and we were like, well, we're your friend. Can you just like go and vote for us anyways? And he was like, no, I'm not gonna.
Dude,
And we were like, oh, whatever, man. Whatever then.
I don't need your vote.
Yeah, we don't need
I
yeah.
won anyways.
But yeah, I mean it is really upsetting. I think that they should care about our efforts as students.
Jacob, do you have a story from junior year?
Not from student council. I'm not in it.
Well,
I didn't spend. I didn't work.
Yeah,
on
something
it.
else. Something else.
well, you ran for
Something else?
student council and your video got rejected.
No, it didn't get rejected. It got. Please change this.
That's
I
what
got-
that means.
Oh,
Tell us a bit about that.
tell us a bit about that.
Why'd your video
well,
get rejected?
a couple of reasons that someone else can talk about.
Why?
But
Why
I
not
actually
you?
had what?
Why not you?
Because I don't want to. I've talked about him too many times, and I'm bored of it. I actually had an original take of my video that was just in a pitch black room, and I was like, "This is funny. I'm in the dark. I'm making fun of people," you know. And then I
was that like
rewatched it a couple of times, and I did not like it. So I re-recorded the whole thing and changed like the. I didn't even have a script. I did it in one take and just like kind of winged it, whatever I was saying, and kind of edited over it. But I don't know. I thought it turned out better, and the administrators didn't. So then they said, change it. And I'm pretty sure they meant to like re-record it and like change what I said, but I just like censored it and then probably said worse stuff, I think. And she was like, "Fine, we'll show it."
yeah?
Uh,
Because one of the in the original take, the first thing that you said was, "Now, if I've done my math right, which I haven't," and then you like flashed on the screen for a moment. It was like all your missing assignments from honors pre-calculus, which those assignments are optional anyway, so it wasn't even a bad thing. But that was one of the things they told you, like, don't promote not doing your homework. Even though in Ian's video, Ian flashed an F on screen, an official F he got in a class.
The final grade F I got in
It had
honors
the
algebra.
star next to it, confirming it was a final grade, and they let him keep that in for whatever reason.
I also flashed on missing assignments,
Yeah,
a
you
bunch
did.
of them that actually mattered. I think the only reason they let mine fly is because I was able to flip it into a positive way.
Yeah,
Right. I
Jacob did
used it as
kind of just
character building.
I
Yeah.
just flipped it into a forget what I just said. Okay, next line. That's what I
Yeah.
did.
because Ian, you were like, even though I may be stupid, I'm a good
still-
leader.
Still a great candidate for student council.
I
But
didn't say
Jacob's video, I think, was my favorite video that they showed.
I
when
really
Yeah,
like
you-
Jacob's. I
you
like
know
It was
why?
very
You know
good.
why?
Yes.
It's because I didn't say one thing about student council, and I just went on my own spiel
True.
about whatever I wanted to say.
And
It
you
was
had-
genuinely the funniest video that they showed.
And you had Subway Surfers gameplay in the background.
I
That
did
was
that,
so
so
funny.
Subway Surfers gameplay that I
actually-
could have edited into the video, but I decided to prop up my TV on like 2 stacks of 20 books so it would be tall enough. So I could have it playing in the background as opposed to spending 7 minutes just like throwing it there in post.
Yeah, it actually worked too. It kept me so focused.
I was so. No doubt, I did not take.
I
my
was
eyes off the
laser
screen.
focused.
Yeah.
I was
Jacob's video.
watching the Subway Surfers gameplay the whole time.
It was pretty good. There's I had to scan through that whole like 12-hour long Subway Surfers video. And there was a
trying to
bunch of
find
clips where they would just die and like go to the menu, and I was like, I don't want this in my video. So I had 2 takes because one of them, the dude in the background from 12 years ago playing Subway Surfers messed up. So it wasn't my fault, but I did have 2 takes, I think.
Oh, and I always wanted to ask this, but how did you get that North Korea part at the end?
North
Oh
Korea.
yeah, you have the #1 score on Subway Surfers on North Korea.
How did
Oh,
you
yeah,
do that?
I called up Kim. I said, "Give me citizenship," and he said, "All right, my boy, you want Temple Run?" And I was like, "No." No,
Do you,
Subway Surfers.
do you still have it?
Yeah.
Kim's number? Do you still have Kim's number?
I
Well,
meant the score. I know. I just remember when that video was shown in my advisory, one of the kids in the back was like, "Oh, I'm beating that score. Oh, I'm beating it." I don't
It was
think
a,
he.
no, it was a god awful score because actually it wasn't okay. I full well lied in that video. It was the weekly score, so I got the highest score
Oh,
that week in North Korea. But hold on. My high score beat this. My high score is 8.5 million. So I think that's like 8 times
What?
what it was in the
oh
video.
my god!
I was in economics class. We were just after the Monopoly unit. We were doing nothing, and I had 45 minutes to kill. So
You played Subway Surfers one game for 45 minutes.
I think I spent like $3 in keys so I could
Oh,
keep reviving.
that's cheating.
It's not cheating. I don't get your money up, dude. You gotta pay to win. I got like 6 million without cheating.
Yeah, that's so pretty impressive. I loved the Monopoly unit in economics. It was a lot of fun.
So, speaking of cheating, segue. I want to talk about the Hunger Drive. David, do you know where I'm about to go with this?
Oh, I do, yeah.
I know where he's about to go.
So our rival school won the Hunger Drive, and it just wasn't it. Okay,
Don't
David, you
even
want-
say their name. Don't even say
we're
their
not
name.
even going to say their name. They don't deserve to have their name
No.
spoken. David, what
No.
did they do? Tell them what they did.
Okay, so first of all, the point of the Hunger Drive is to either raise money to buy meals for families that need them
Money.
or get food to feed the families that need them.
Food.
And the point of getting food is like canned food, so like beans or stuff like that that like doesn't expire, so they can just cook it up right away.
Food you can
And
eat.
this the food you can eat in this school, so it goes off of pounds. So if I give you a can of beans and it's like 2 pounds, we get like 2 pounds towards our
points.
total, and like $1's worth 1 pound. So what this school did is they bought bags of flour, right? Am I right?
Flour.
Yes, flour that are very heavy because they're full of flour, and it
Like 20
counted.
pounds a bag.
Yeah.
And it counted towards their total. So they beat us by about 30,000 pounds. And I don't know how much of
Of that
those
was flour. We still
was flour.
we still probably would have
But
lost, but
and besides that, there's other ways that they cheated because they had non-school associated parties that they charged cans or money to get into that then went into the Hunger Drive.
they were also
And-
like I mean, this is not really the school, but like I just remember there was a story. So one of the things we do to raise food and money is solicit outside of grocery stores. So and one of them we would solicit at the same time. So it'd be like us at one door and them at another door because it had two doors. And we were always there on weekends from noon to 4, while they were only there from noon to 3. And all I remember is that there was a story about one day where like it was 3 o'clock and they were leaving and they came over to our like station and basically said to us, "You guys have to leave." Says who? Oh, and also like
The biggest cheaters
with
in the Hunger Drive.
with the like the flour thing, it wasn't just like, oh, they're getting a bunch of flour. No, they like promoted it. They had an ad that they released to their school that was like, on this day bring bags of sugar and flour. On this day bring jars of peanut butter. You know what I mean? It's like, why not just tell them to bring food that you can eat?
Families in need cannot eat flour.
Like
on itself. Well, if you have like other ingredients
yeah,
to
but
make food with flour, you can't make
you
food
need
with
eggs.
just flour.
You need eggs.
Yeah.
You need milk. You need stuff like that. You know.
It's like, oh, you're homeless and you're starving? Here, have a bag of pure starch. Dig in.
Enjoy.
Goodness gracious. I had a great time soliciting, though. I really enjoyed that. My first time ever soliciting, I was with Callista, and a bird flew into the window and fell right next to us.
That's really sad.
Right.
And also that same day, we were soliciting, and this one old guy came up to us, and he says, "Oh, now what's this now?" And we're like, "We're raising money for the student hunger drive," and he's like, what did he say? I'm blanking. Oh no, my storytelling.
Professional.
He said, no, it was Callista. She was like, yeah, this food's gonna go to help feed hungry families, and the guy just goes, oh well, if they don't want those kids to be hungry, they shouldn't have given birth to them, and then he just walked in. Like, damn.
Was that at Hy-Vee or was that at Fairway?
Hy-Vee.
Okay.
What do you have a Fairway story, David?
No, I just feel like there's different people that go to like Hy-Vee or Fairway. I feel like that would have been like a Fairway guy.
Like, bro
Fairway,
walked up to us just to tell us poor people shouldn't have children, and he walked in. Like, what? Okay, thanks, man. There's this.
So what?
Huh?
Why didn't you go to Whole Foods? You don't think Whole Foods people would donate more? They got so
No,
much money.
honestly, people with
little
less
new
money
food.
donate more than people with more money.
That's true.
So then go to Fairway.
That's
do.
exactly why if you want to be rich, you cannot donate to charity. Ever.
Yeah.
Would you like to round up to $1 to donate? No.
No, I'm saving money today.
That's a
Yeah.
tip of that though. If they say, "Would you like to round up $1 to," and they don't actually give the name of whatever charity it is, don't do it.
Mhm.
If they cannot tell you exactly what charity the money goes to, it is a scam.
I only round up the dollar, whatever it says. Like, can you round up dollars so we can have money? It's like this is straight up just for Taco Bell. I'm
like
like,
the
hell
self-
yeah.
Self-paying
Support
machine.
Taco Bell.
No.
Dude, I saw this guy on the side of the street that was just like, I need money for beer. And so many people were giving him money.
Hell yeah.
Like, no joke.
People
That's
appreciate.
the American dream.
Oh man.
I need money for flour.
I'm gonna snort it. It's the only way.
So, another thing interesting that I think happened junior year. I mean, I don't know how interesting it was, but Ian, you went to Germany.
Oh, I actually totally forgot about that. I did go to Germany.
Yeah, you went to Germany the spring break trip. I didn't go. I
And why is that, sir?
So if you
Why
listen,
didn't you go?
if you listen to last episode, I had a bit of a moment with my German teacher, and I was kind of upset about it. So I took out I unsigned up for the German trip because of it, which was petty. But so was
Hold
going to my
up. It
AP.
was not a moment. It was 20 minutes of the like 70-minute episode, dude.
Hey, I'm still angry about it,
Go
and I
on,
never
go on.
won't be. But
I was so upset when Sawyer didn't sign up because I was thinking me and him were gonna have so much fun in Germany. We were talking about pulling these like weird pranks on people and
we
recording
were?
it.
You don't
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No. I'm sure
I
it
was
was my
so-
idea, but
It was your idea. And you had some like hotel ideas too, and I just said that sounds so much fun. I can't wait for it. And then Sawyer comes up to me and is like, "Yeah, I'm not going to Germany."
It
I was
wasn't-
like, "Why?"
wasn't one of my ideas because like we learned in German class that I think German people are much more likely to go and talk to strangers than like Americans are. But I think I remember telling something about like, oh, we just gotta go up to random people and like speak German for just a little bit and then just stop understanding what they're saying and get all confused. Something like that. I don't remember.
I remember one of your ideas involved flowers. I don't remember what exactly what it was though.
I remember that too, but I don't remember what the idea was.
Yeah, but it sounded like so much fun. We were gonna do all sorts of fun German things, and then he didn't show up, and he stuck me there with Johnny. Stuck me there with Jonathan Stelmach.
The brain rot wizard.
Dude,
Yo,
it
how you
was
gonna dog on our fans, dude?
No.
What are you doing?
Listen,
no,
I love Johnny as much as the next guy.
I do, but when we're in German class and the room is dead silent, and all of a sudden you hear in the corner, "Skippity Sigma," like, shut up! Can you? Why? No, when we play Book It, and his names in the game would be like LeBon Bon James, and he'd win, and the teacher would be like, "Congratulations, LeBon Bon, you win!" Like, but yes, you went to Germany with him.
Yeah, and he was brain rot the entire time with all the guys there. And one of his big things there was colognes. He loves colognes. He calls them his fragrances.
Oh yeah, fragrance maxing and whatever the
Yep.
hell.
Yep. And we were at this German mall, and he couldn't decide between these colognes, and all the other guys in the group wanted to go shopping, but our German teacher specifically told us if someone in the group doesn't have a phone, don't leave them alone, right? Because then they could get lost. And Johnny, for some reason, his phone didn't work in Germany. I don't remember why. And I was stuck with him. But I was like, Johnny, I want to go shopping. I don't want to sit here and look at you, look at colognes for another hour. Because he was in that store for 30 minutes.
Is he like smelling all of them?
Yes. He couldn't decide. And I was like, Johnny, stay here. I'm going to go down with the rest of the guys and we're going to go shopping. We'll be back. And he was like, okay, when I'm done shopping, I will go outside and sit on that bench and wait for you guys. I was like, okay, perfect. And we leave. And we're gone and we continue to do shopping, and eventually we decide to go back and get Johnny, and he's not there. The one spot we told him to wait, he wasn't there.
Of course not.
Yes. So we walk around the mall looking for him because we're responsible now that he's gone. Our German teacher.
That's okay.
Our German teacher's gonna get mad at us for not finding her, for him. And we're looking around the mall, and we actually run into the other German teacher. And we're like, so, funny story, we lost Johnny.
He's dead.
And it's so funny, because she barely cared. She was like, oh.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
She wouldn't.
She was like, oh, okay. Just find him. And that was all she said. I expected her to be actually, like, kind of pissed. But she just told us to find him, and then we walked around the mall for a long while until we found him, just wandering, looking for us.
Looking for more fragrance.
Yeah, but as we were walking around, one of the guys in the group said, Johnny couldn't decide between the two different colognes, Skibbity and Toilet. That was the funniest shit I heard all trip.
Okay. Can you also please talk about the kid on that train?
Oh yes, I forgot about the kid on the train. So we're in Germany. We're in the heart of Berlin, taking this underground like metro train, and we're chilling on the train. We're on the train for like 10 minutes, going through town, and one of the German kids starts talking to us in fluent English, and this kid was about 10 or 12. I'm 17 in German 4, and I still don't know enough German to keep up a conversation in it, but this kid was fluent in English.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks over at us, and there was another guy in our group. He was a bigger kid, and he had his back turned to us. And the kid looks at the bigger kid. He looks back at us, and he goes, "Gyat," with his hands like towards the big kid's gyat.
Like a
we all
10-year-old.
burst out laughing because it's this German kid that just did that. And then we start talking to the kid some more, and he goes, "Hey guys, have you seen the Drake leak? Have you seen Drake Snake? Did you guys see Drake Snake?" And he puts his hand down and
he does the motion.
does the motion, and we all burst out laughing again because it's this German kid with the most German accent you've ever heard going Drake Snake.
Have you seen the
Snake?
Drake leak? Man, I do kind of regret not going, but you know,
I kind of figured you would. When you,
I don't even remember what I did over spring break. Instead, I thought about you.
Oh, is that Rose?
Oh, and during the trip, another crazy Johnny story. He had a cast on his hand because he broke his like one of his arm bones
All of them.
while skating. And it's the last night before we get on the plane and go home, and it's just me and Johnny in a room together. And I'm just trying to go to sleep because I don't know, I'm tired. I want to go home. And Johnny, he gets up out of bed and goes to the bathroom, and then I can hear this scratching, like repeated like scratching, like back and forth, loud. And I'm just wondering, what the hell is he doing in the bathroom? And then I hear him turn on the hairdryer. I was like, what is he doing with that? Because the German bathroom had like a just built-in hairdryer into like the little sink. and he turns on the sink. I can continue to hear him scratching at something. And then he comes out into the room, and the room's still dark, but I can still kind of see because the bathroom light was on. And I think he thinks I'm sleeping. And he sits down on his bed, and he has this little coin, this German coin, and he's just scratching at his cast. I look over at him like, Johnny, what the fuck are you doing? And he says, I'm trying to get my cast off. I can't take it anymore. I'm like, dude, we go back in a day. And don't you get that cast off? And he's like, I get the cast off in a week, but I can't wait. And he keeps scratching at it. And I'm just like, whatever, Johnny. And he goes back into the bathroom. He continues to try to use the hair dryer to like heat up the cast or whatever. And I eventually fall asleep with all the scratching. I wake up and Johnny is sitting, like not lying down, but sitting on his bed with the cast in two pieces next to him, just like staring at his phone. And I'm like, Johnny, did you go to sleep last night? And he goes, no, but I finally got my cast off.
He spent the whole night getting it off.
Yes. And then we go to the airport and we're waiting for a plane, and Johnny's out of his mind, absolutely tired. But Johnny looks at me and he goes, Ian, I think they have fragrances in this airport. We need to go shopping for them. They're like, what? And he makes me walk with him because he still doesn't have a phone, so I have to go with him to go shopping for more cologne.
So, did the teacher notice that his cast was just gone?
Yeah, they did, but I mean, what can they do about it? They
Pretty
can't
fair
really
when he was
discipline. They're
missing,
not
they
his
wouldn't
parents.
care.
They couldn't discipline him.
Uh,
They're just like, why'd you do that, Johnny? He's like, I needed to get it off. And they said, okay.
that's wow, what a story. You never told me about that. Uh-oh, it's getting quiet in here. Uh-oh, we're losing viewers.
Oh, well, anyways, that was about probably the most interesting thing that happened in Germany. I mean, we saw cool things, but I'm not going to waste your time talking about the Berlin Wall and stuff.
Hey,
ancient
all
Rome.
I'm getting from the story, all I'm getting from your story is that you're a fake friend. If you're not willing to help, you know,
Help a man find his
your
fragrance.
disabled friend with a broken arm decide between the fragrances like salty
and
sea
toilet.
breeze and musty brick wall, I don't know if I want to continue this thing. Like,
I'm sorry,
I can't trust you.
the whole trip he keeps talking about how he wants to go cologne shopping. He says fragrance shopping, and he drags me into so many stores and doesn't buy one until the last day we're in the mall, and he's finally like, Ian, I need to get this cologne. I'm like, Johnny, all of the time I've spent with you in cologne shops is like added up on the whole trip to like 3 hours. I've stood next to you as you shop for colognes. Can't do it anymore.
Okay.
I can't take it anymore.
I think what you should have just bought a cologne and like put just so much cologne on that he's like infatuated with you. He follows you around like a dog. Cause then he just want like, and you don't tell him the name. You're like, come on, follow me and guess the name of my fragrance, and just like run away from him wherever you want to go.
The crazy thing is, he probably could have guessed the name of the fragrance. He smelled so many on the trip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also in German class, that's another word he loved a lot. Like, no, yeah, in German class, almost every day, the last couple weeks of school, he would come into class first thing, go up to you, Ian, and like get right up in your face and be like, that's a nice fragrance.
He'd be like, Ian, smell my fragrance. Smell my fragrance.
Smell my fragrance, Ian.
And then I'd
Ian,
smell it, and he'd be
shower.
like, I'd smell it, and he smells good because he wears cologne.
He's got the
He's a
fragrance.
good smelling man. He's got that going for him. I'd smell it, and he'd be like, Ian, guess what color the cologne was? They're like, how? How am I supposed to know off the smell?
Well, okay. Do you guys want to finally know what Ghost Child is?
I would
Yeah,
love to know
please
what
tell
it
me.
is.
Waiting
I'd love to
patiently to
know.
hear this story.
Ian, you probably have heard this story before, but okay. I, for one, have had a lot of strange encounters at Bettendorf High School with certain characters, I should say. I feel like most people, when they encounter someone who's like a little strange, they kind of just walk away or ignore them. But I have a tendency to not do that. So I think this might be the strangest interaction I've ever had with another student at Bendorf High School. So this was back during first quarter, during homecoming season, and I was on the homecoming shirt committee. So what we were doing is we were passing out homecoming shirts. We were passing out the homecoming shirts, and it was Tuesday. It was a Tuesday, and we were passing out them out to our pride sessions, which are like study hall, so that the next day during advisory, which is like homeroom, those respective teachers could give them to their advisory students. And I was passing them out to different rooms, and I had one shirt left. There was only like 6 minutes left of Pride. I had one shirt left, and it was addressed to one of the rooms in the dungeon, which is the very bottom part of our school. Our school has 3 main floors, floor 1, 2, and 3. There's a floor 0 with only 2 classrooms. You go down another flight of stairs on the bottom floor, and all it is this tiny little hallway. It's a tiny little hallway with 2 classrooms. One's an art room, and the other is like, what even is it? It has like all the, it's like
CNA.
They got skeletons in there, dude.
Yeah, they've
It's like
got
a nursing school room.
yeah, it has all the
But
hospital beds.
if you
I
ask
think they're real.
kids if they know where the dungeon is, half of them in their whole school wouldn't be able to tell you where it is.
Yeah, it's in like the
Or
back corner.
they'd say the wrong place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my advisory classrooms in the dungeon, so I had to show up to school on the first day and be like, "Where the hell is room 0001?"
Yeah, like because every room is like is a triple digit number, and the first number is what floor it's on. So when you see a room with the number 0 as the first number, you're like, where on earth is this?
You gotta walk through a wall to get
But
to it.
anyways, the thing about these rooms is that there's not a lot of classes in those rooms, and especially there's not a lot of pride sessions. So it's like a 50-50 chance when you go down there, there's actually going to be anyone inside. So I had my last shirt, and it was addressed to the art room in the dungeon. And I'm going down these stairs. It's like 6 minutes of Pride left, meaning it's been like 50 minutes since Pride started. I'm going down these stairs. I get down there, and I see in the corner of the hallway, I see this freshman just standing there. He's not on his phone. He's not leaning up against the wall. He's not doing anything. He's not looking at anything. He is standing there, straight posture, like a statue. And I go to the door for the art room. It's locked. The lights are off. I turn around, look at the other classroom in that hallway, the CNA room, also off. Door's locked. So now I'm real confused. Why is this kid here? So, again, like I said, I don't typically turn away from things like this. So I look at him and I go, "Hey, man, what you doing here? What's going on over here? What you doing over here?" And he points to the art room and he's like, "This is my classroom, but the door seems to be locked." He said it just like that. "The door seems to be locked." And I'm like, "Uh-huh." So I'm like, so this is your class right now? He's like, "Uh-huh." And I'm like, "So have you been down here just standing here for the past 50 minutes?" And the dude goes silent. He doesn't answer my question. And time's running out for me to return this shirt because the teacher's not there. So I did not have time to further question him. So I just ran. But I still think about that kid. What was he doing? Because normally you can like kind of tell when a student's like skipping or I don't know, they're vaping or something. You know, you can normally tell when they're doing something they're not supposed to. But this kid was just standing in the corner doing nothing. His eyes were forward. He like didn't even like look at me until I addressed him. Like I tested both doors and only when I started speaking to him did he like turn his head and acknowledge me. So I was convinced for a while that I had seen a ghost. I had seen the ghost of a child who died in Bendorf High School, and he was visiting me.
That is
Hey.
kind of wild. You said it
So-
was during Pride?
Yeah, it was during Pride, and it was like the end. It was like Pride ends at 1:58. It was like 1:53.
Yeah. She's the art teacher's my advisory teacher, and her Pride will go back and forth between that room in the dungeon and the pottery classroom.
Which is
That-
on the floor above.
Yeah, so that kid probably just didn't know it was in the pottery classroom, but I don't know. I can't explain why he was standing there.
Yeah, why was he going there? Doors locked. Just stand here, I guess. And I can't even properly mimic the way he talked but it wasn't
Human.
human. That's all I gotta say. I don't know what
Yeah.
his deal is, but the way he responded to my questions was so robotic in nature. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I
So-
said, what are you doing here? He said, the door seems to be locked. What were you saying, Jacob?
So I just want to get this clear. You have a shirt that you're assigned to deliver to a classroom. You go to this classroom, you have one shirt, and you see one person, and you don't think to give them the shirt.
It's not his. It's for tomorrow.
Well, did you ask him?
No.
Was he wearing a shirt?
Yeah. Could you imagine? You imagine he just. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm waiting here for my homecoming shirt. I'm like, oh, here you go.
Hey, if you delivered him the shirt, then he would, pass on to the next life.
That was his
That's
unfinished business.
Yes.
Speaking of homecoming shirts, I'm sorry, this is like derailing a bit here, but I am on the homecoming shirt committee again next year for student council, first thing. And I'm the chair. I'm co-chairing with Rowan. And the theme is Viva Las Vegas. And I kind of want to know, what do you guys want to see out of the homecoming shirt this year? Because our junior year shirt, I just think there's a bit too much going on. There's too much color.
Yeah. I think you could do a pretty cool, like, gambling theme. I don't know if the school will let that happen though, but
Probably
with
not
like
like
cards,
explicitly
cards
gambling.
or chips.
Not you should do like the famous Las Vegas sign and then like just stitch Bettendorf over it and put the high school in the background.
That's actually kind of a good idea.
I was thinking for like one side, because it's the homecoming shirt. I was thinking one side,
Yeah.
either the front or the back. We put like 4 cards, right, and like one's spades, one's diamonds, one's hearts, one's clubs. And instead of having the suits, that's what it is, right? I'm not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Yeah.
having just the suits in the middle, it'd be like the letter H, the letter O, the letter C, the letter O, HOCO, and be like red, black, red, black.
Hmm.
I think could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as long as like they're simpler. I really liked our sophomore year design, the Hollywood.
I really liked our freshman year. It was Welcome to the Jungle. I like that one. I didn't buy it, but
I also did. The only one I bought is sophomore year, I think.
because
No, I bought last year too. No,
The-
actually, I probably have bought all of
the thing with our junior year one is that the theme was like Once Upon a Hoko. It was like fantasy, and I was on that committee, but it was my first committee on student council, and I was shy, so I wasn't really too keen on giving input. But I just remember we had 2 versions of the shirt. Both of them are like the outline of like a bulldog head, and then there's just like gobbledygook inside of it.
it.
And we
Good
had
description.
we basically had 2 choices. One is the one we chose, and the other was one that I actually liked more. The one we chose, I'm not gonna show you. Has like a bunch of colors inside of it. It's like purple, blue, yellow, orange, pink. But the other one was one. The outline of the bulldog head was a little different and like a little more defined, and it was just like yellow in it, like a yellow bright light, which was simpler, and I kind of like that one more.
Leak the Sawyer Fields design.
Huh?
Leak it on Instagram or something. Yeah.
What?
Leak the
Oh,
design.
The
The other
design that we didn't choose.
I
Yeah.
tried to find it. I don't know. Do group chats delete? Because I was looking for it and I just couldn't find it.
No.
I looked through every single like messages group chat I had with that committee and I couldn't find it. Even though I
Well,
know
maybe
it was
they
there.
never like shared it.
Oh, they
Like,
did.
maybe they shared it like in person or like on email.
No, I
Check your
definitely
email.
remember like showing people it once before, but I couldn't like find it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Right.
Hold on. I'm looking for it. What about you guys?
Losing
Anything
viewers.
else that you can think of?
Earlier you said the ghost child story. You began it with like talking about weird kids at Bettendorf High School.
Want more stories out of me?
No. So if you guys watched the first episode, you know I work at the Betplex, the TBK Sports Complex,
It's like
and
like it has just about everything really. It has like a basketball court, bowling alley, arcade.
Yeah. I worked
that's
there
just about
with
everything.
Jacob, actually. Me and him both worked there. And for Bettendorf's after prom and all of the high schools after proms,
Well,
they all go
Reese,
to they all go to the Betplex for their after prom and have like a little party where everything's free, the bowling, the arcade.
they rent it for the night.
Yeah. Everything's free for students. But when I went there, so our rival school, the one who cheated in the Hunger Drive, I always I always thought their kids were the weird kids.
Mm.
Like, they
Hello.
were all strange. They were strange and weird.
You're gonna fit
But
right in
after-
on the student council.
But nah, maybe not after I say this next bit. After
No. And don't say it.
I can't.
He's already going.
After working after prom at both Bettendorf and our rival school, I can definitely say Bettendorf has stranger kids. There are more
Calling the
weird kids at
advisors to get you
Bettendorf.
kicked off council.
How dare you?
It's a problem that we all need to work to fix.
Yo, comment down below if you think we're weird. Okay, moving on.
But Pleasant.
Oh, not moving
Oh.
on. I'm sorry.
What? I said I'm feeling very. Anyways, our rival school had very normal kids. I was very surprised. I thought they'd be way more annoying than they actually were.
Were they pleasant?
Some could even say they were pleasant, Jacob.
Okay, this is something I need to talk about now. The year
Sawyer rant. It's the Sawyer rant section of the.
Sawyer rant section of the podcast, part 2. So, full respect to everyone who is on Yearbook Club. You work very hard. But our junior year yearbook, this cover is terrible. It is awful, and I need to talk about it. Now, let's start with some positives. The inside of the book is... What just fell out? Something fell out of my book. So, that David's holding it to. The inside of the book is very nice. I very much like it. I think it is a very nice interior. It was very nice looking through it.
I think the inside's the best it's been in
Mhm.
my.
I think the one-page splashes are filler. Fight me.
Okay.
I think the inside is much better than the inside I saw online for a yearbook. It was total brain rot on the inside. It was like in quotes, it said, "This is so Sigma" on one of the pages, and everywhere else it was like Phantom Tax, Skibbity Ohio,
If I was
all
a
across
yearbook,
the book. I was like, okay, the yearbook could be worse. We could have gotten that.
put that away, David. Put that away. So,
Ian, do you
anyways,
look up yearbooks and just stare at random high schoolers from other
Me?
states? Yeah, what are you talking
I think
about?
he's talking about
You look
ours.
at them?
I was scrolling on Instagram and came across that yearbook.
Oh,
Okay. So, anyways, back to our yearbook. The inside is great. You guys did a bang-up job. But my God, the cover is terrible. It is so bad. And here I go. Audio listeners, I want to do my best to describe this to you. So the title of this year's yearbook is The Story Starts Here. And let's start with the words starts here. They are in all capitals and they are sideways along the right edge of the cover, which is pretty neat because it means like, oh, the story starts here. You open the book by grabbing right here. So it's like, oh, you're starting the journey of the story. It's
Like a
actually
board
pretty
game.
cool. But there's an issue. At the bottom of the cover, they have a picture, a cropped picture of a bunch of people cheering in the football stands. And it's the only thing that's actually visual on the cover, right? There's just empty white space on 90%. That's mean. 70% of the thing. So basically the issue with this is that they made this picture black and white for whatever reason, so it looks like all these people are dead. But in the very bottom right corner of the cover, there's a kid wearing a black t-shirt, and he is covering almost the entirety of the second E in the word here. So at first glance, it looks like it just says starts her. So I don't know how they overlooked that. Now let's talk about the words the story. At the very top of the page are the words the story, the first 2 words of the title. Now, for whatever reason, these words are tiny in the corner and are both all lowercase. Why? and they are just like a default font. I don't know what font it is. I think it might be Calibri. I could be wrong. But for all the effort they put on the inside, when they were making the title on the cover, they looks like they put a text box down and just typed it in. And we're like, well, we're done. And for whatever reason, to try and make it look more interesting, the word story is bolded and italicized for no reason. But the word the isn't. I despise this cover. And I hope to see a better one next year, because last year's was so cool, man. Last year's was so cool. I thought it was cool. I'm holding it now. The title is Full Circle, and the cover actually has a whole cutout that reveals part of a picture. So that way, when you open the front cover, it reveals the whole picture. I think it's pretty neat. But this year's cover and the last year's cover is like an off-white color, which I think looks better than just a pure white. This year, there's just so much empty space, and my God, why is the text in lowercase? All right, that's enough. That's enough of this.
Sawyer, what's your opinion on page 113? I think that should have been the cover.
Page 113. Let me open it
Yeah.
up here a bit. Let me open it up real quick. If it's just my picture, I'm gonna be angry with you.
No, it's not your picture.
Hold on. There's a lot of pages in here. Oh,
What even is page 13? Wait,
113.
that's 111.
109, 111.
That's foul.
115 isn't much better. Flip the
Dude,
page.
I can't. I'm not showing this. That's mean. You're being mean to people right now, Jacob.
That's not mean. I said it's a good cover.
That picture would have been a better cover.
No,
I mean,
like
page
them.
page 115 goes pretty hard though.
Oh my god, I'm the only one without the yearbook.
Sucks to suck.
Ian's just being left out of this
Okay.
conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like all the listeners right now. I have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on, but I want to know.
If you don't see it, just know the cover was bad, and I'm upset about it. So, let's see. What else do I have on Sawyer's bullet list? Let's look through here. I have quite a lot of
Your
things.
bullet list.
My bullet point list, okay, that I mentioned at the start of the episode. Oh, I took Life of Dinosaurs junior year. We talked a bit about that class sophomore year.
Cancel
And
the trip after.
I had quite the experience in that class. Besides Braden, who I had that class with, friend, I'm pretty sure that when they were designing my Life of Dinosaurs class and putting everyone in it, they looked at the GPA of every student at Bettendorf High School and took the lowest ones and put them into a class with me. I know that's mean, but my God, there were things that happened in that class that shouldn't be happening at a high school. So there was a point where one kid asked, "How does a compass work?" And the teacher, he started answering it. He was going through, like, he was explaining the magnetic pull of the North and South Pole, and he was like, the magnet in the compass is like drawn towards the North Pole, right? That's how a compass works. So he explained all of it, and then the kid who asked the question raised his hand and said, "Oh, so does that mean ice is magnetic?" No! Are you, like, I'm sorry. You're, like, my brain. How do you draw that conclusion that ice must be magnetic? And that is why a compass works. When in your life has ice ever been magnetic? How can you draw a conclusion like that?
I mean, if there's enough iron in your water, it could become magnetic.
Maybe. But there was another point. Go ahead.
Well, no, compasses work because they point towards like the North Pole, because that's like where like the magnetic center of the Earth is. That's how they work. So just because you have a little bit of iron in your water doesn't mean that your compass is going to point that way.
Well, okay. I think he's just trying to. I don't know what he's trying to get at. Actually, that was really dumb.
I wasn't talking about the compass.
Okay, sure.
You're just talking about just like one of those like red and white like magnets that you hold, right?
But there was another point in the class. It was like day 1, and he had like a picture of a T-Rex on the screen. And one kid raised his hand and legitimately asked, "What would happen if the T-Rex had like longer arms, then the
That's-
T-Rex would have longer arms. What answer are you expecting to get out of that question?
Well,
It would have
well,
longer arms.
what would it do with them? So what would
Grab.
happen if you had shorter arms?
I'd be sad. I don't know. I want to be able to grab things.
Oh,
Tough.
No, but there was like another issue with that class is that the teacher, he's pretty bad at not answering questions. So literally any question he would be asked, he would answer, even if it had nothing to do with the subject. There was a day in a dinosaur class where we were talking about the Second Amendment. How? How do
Wait.
we get what?
sorry, hold on. Your beef with this mysterious teacher that you won't name is that as a teacher, his weakness is that he is too good at answering questions.
Okay,
That he
well,
refuses to.
when a student asks, what if a T-Rex had longer arms, and he tries to give an in-depth answer instead of just saying it would have longer arms, like, just say it would have longer arms, because he tried to answer the question where he'd be like, well, the T-Rex, well, if it had longer arms, it would most likely just say it would have longer arms and move on, please. But there was another point where we got on the topic of Judaism in a Life of Dinosaurs class. I don't know how that happens. And Islam on the same day, actually, which was also the same day as the compass thing. Actually, I think most of my problems with this class all happened in one day, because during that class period, after the compass thing happened, my head hurt so bad that I asked to go to the bathroom and didn't come back for 15 minutes. I went down to the lunch.
Whoa, hey, you went past your Minga time.
Oh no! I went over the 5 minutes. What am I gonna do?
I'm gonna get our principal on you.
No, yeah, I remember because I went to the bathroom after the compass thing and came back to Judaism.
So here's bone to pick with this class is that one day he learned too much.
Yeah.
Man, and there was another point. Also, the kids in that class just have such a hard time. Like they had such a hard time understanding, like, evolution, because there were some kids who on the last day class were still like, so why did the T-Rex decide to have shorter arms? I don't think it did. I don't think it chose to do that.
They don't believe in evolution.
Hmm.
They're hardcore Christians in that class.
I guess so. But yeah, man, junior year, I think what a year, man. I had a lot of fun. I'm excited for next year.
I definitely think junior year was my favorite year.
Well, we also peaked. I mean, basketball went to state and got to semifinals.
Mhm.
Our jazz program made state for the first time in its history.
Nobody cares.
Oh,
Nobody cares about fine arts. I'm sorry. And then like
Fine
our
arts,
women's soccer team
your budget
won state.
team. Yes,
Football went to state. Like all this stuff. I felt like it was a pretty good year.
I mean, even though we only got second place in Hunger Drive, it was still like our highest like score ever, right? Is that true? I mean, it was higher than last year.
No, I think no. Mm-mm.
Are you sure?
No, we got less. Yeah, we got less. Yeah.
I was told that was not the case.
Dude, the year before, our rival school only beat us by like 10K, and then this year they beat
Okay.
us by like 30.
No, I'm saying like
Oh.
just in general, like not how much we were beat by.
No,
them.
I still think that we had gotten like over because this year we only got like 60,000 pounds. I think the year before that we had like 63, 64.
All right. Next year, Ian, you and I, we're gonna take up every single
120,000 pounds.
We're gonna take up every single soliciting shift. Every single one we're gonna solicit for 40 hours. We're gonna do dances outside of the grocery store to get people to donate money, and we're gonna cry if they don't.
Yes, I like that idea.
Also, just with soliciting, I have like intrusive thoughts that come in because like people would say like, "Oh, sorry, I don't have any cash on me," and every single time someone would say something like that, I'd be so close to saying, "Well, there's an ATM right inside. Here,
I actually have a QR code right here. You can scan it with your phone, even if you don't have a credit card on you when you're going into the grocery store.
Here, let me
Dude, there's
just
this amazing thing called PayPal.
let me just
Yeah.
write your credit card number down real quick.
Here's my Venmo. You can just.
I think my favorite memory from junior year, and Jacob, you remember this. Junior year was the year I fell in love with football as a sport.
Yeah, I had that
And
written
That's
down. I
when
had
it
him
went
wrote down.
way downhill after the third word.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
fell in love with you, Jacob.
fell in love with you, Jacob. No, but I fell in love with football, and I decided to set up this little league. I called it the LFL, the local football league.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd get games of 7-on-7 tackle football together every other Wednesday out on the practice field. And Jacob was one of the ones who would show up. And it was some of the most fun I'd ever had, like I don't know, just in high school, just in general, some of the most fun I ever had. We were kind of worried about playing tackle without pads, but no one got seriously injured.
No one's neck broke.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And after doing that, it kind of inspired me to join the actual football team for Bettendorf.
How's
So
that going?
it's good. I got to get up really early for practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically have to still go to school. I have to get up and go to school at 7 or
Correct.
8 and every weekday except for weekends.
Oh, but I was really shocked when you told me that you wanted to join the football team. But
I was shocked too. My freshman and sophomore year, I absolutely hated football. I was like, it's just so stupid, so dumb. But after watching a couple games, I realized there's so much more strategy and thought put into football than I ever imagined. And after learning some of the strategy and playing games with the 7-on-7 league that I started playing a couple games, I just loved it. And now I'm on the football team, and now we're gonna win state. All
yeah.
'cause of me. Yep, all
So
because of me. I'm Macarius.
I think anyone else? Any of you want to add anything else? Because I think we're getting close to wrapping up here.
Oh, Sawyer, I just found out that the inside of the yearbook cover is just the cover, but in color.
Oh yeah, the inside cover of this year's yearbook cover is just that same black and white image, just in color for whatever reason. So
Yeah, I'm really not seeing what you're complaining about. I like it.
I don't. So I think with that, we're gonna wrap this episode up here. Thank you so much for listening. Junior year, I think, was a really good year. I hope that senior year, our one last year, is. Oh, I said the name. I hope it is gonna be just as good, if not better, than our junior year was, because I think that really was one of the best years. And
Yeah.
also, hopefully, next episode we will have our first guest. We will see. So stay tuned for that. What, David? What?
If if I can fulfill my promise, I promised in my student council election video that I would make senior year the best year of our lives.
Because you're gonna take us to state. You're gonna make us
I
win
am.
a state championship in football.
hmm And I'm
Well,
gonna do amazingly great things on student council.
you are. I'm excited.
USA.
All right. With that, thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.